Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Software Engineer K, and today we've got some pretty big news. We're going to be covering one of the anticipated events in terms of VeVe, which is the buybacks. So they've started buybacks. We're also going to be having a recap of today's drop, my success with it, as well as one overlooked fact that VeVe Flipper has pointed out, which I think is definitely worth sharing within the community. I did also want to share another artist leak. So we have another confirmed or speculated to be confirmed artist that's working with VeVe. So that's pretty cool. And also just touch on our daily price. So without further ado, we'll go straight into it. So the OMI Whale Watcher Twitter page, if you're following it, they just basically update large transactions which are happening on GoChain with OMI. So Rank 4 Ascendex, or BitMax in this case, has sent 26.5 million OMI to the reserve wallet. And if you scroll down, you can see Ecomi just left a comment there. So if we have a look into this, we know that, the transactions, the buybacks have started, and I made a video on this previously. So some people have said, why don't they just buy back everything in one big chunk? And it just goes to show that they are working compliantly. They're not allowed to buy back in one big chunk because that can, fall under market manipulation. They are increasing the volatility of one of their own assets. So what they need to do is they break it up and they split up their buybacks so that they don't cause too much volatility in the market. And that's exactly how it works for traditional buybacks with equities as well. There are loads of analytical tools online which kind of help companies structure how to buy back, a certain amount of shares. So Ecomi's probably either done something similar or they've decided, we're just going to buy back this percent, in this frequency. So, it just goes to show that they are working compliantly. And if you have a look at the data, so from this address to this address, you can see here that they have been doing a buyback every hour or so. It looks like every hour, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Yeah. So I think they're just doing it hourly. And, we are going to start to see this accumulate as we get more utility to the token, because I've made a point of this, that all the videos that are trying to predict OMI's price valuation, 0% of them are going to be accurate, just because if you have a look back at the previous videos where they were trying to calculate burn based off of primary market purchases, those all became inaccurate as soon as the secondary market came in and we started having additional burn, the 2.5% burn from that. And then people started making new models, adding the primary market and the secondary market. But now it's been confirmed that, there is a new digital product which has OMI, some kind of utility with OMI. So most likely there's going to be some form of burn through that. What about new models in the future when you add that on? And then there's going to be burn events, so then you have to kind of accommodate for that. And then VeVeVerse, there's going to be something to do with OMI with that. They may have some additional burn from that. And these models will just keep changing as we get more and more information. So at present, since it is still quite early days, none of the models are going to be very accurate. So you have to also remember that OMI is the primary source of working capital for VeVe. So they do need to ensure that they have a fair and increasing valuation for the OMI token, just because they need the OMI token to have a decent valuation so that they can dip into that reserve in order to continue expanding, buying licenses, etc. Now, on the point of the drop today, so for the Givenchy drop, I got the ultra rare Cleopatra and I got the uncommon logo. I picked up the rare and the other ultra rare, so I have the full set. And this rare, if you have a notice, if you have a look at it, the back of it has the Givenchy logo. The other three don't. They've got the Rewind Collective logo. And, VeVe Flipper went ahead and he asked David Yu, what's that about? So he says, just wondering, is this whole set Givenchy? Or I know the set is licensed, however, only Pride has the logo, the rest have Rewind Collective. And David Yu says, yes, the rare piece is fully Givenchy. Collaboration, others are done by the same artist group. So the rare is the only official kind of licensed by Givenchy collectible. The other ones are Rewind Collective. Now, that's interesting because right now the price of it is fairly low. It's around about 200 gems. And because of this information, I believe, and also because it's animated, it is a very, very undervalued one right now. That's what I believe. 1,900 and whatever mints. It's not that many. It's also official, Givenchy licensed, and it is animated. And I've seen people do some pretty cool stuff with that one as well. I've seen someone take it and basically make the floor of their showroom the entire portrait. And because it's animated and changing, it looks kind of like a nightclub, which is pretty cool. So that is pretty awesome. Now, what I did also want to share is if any of you guys have seen a TV show called Terrace House, there is someone in it, Lauren Tsai, also known as Lala. And you can see here that she's followed by quite a lot of my friends, but also followed by David Yu, and which is pretty interesting because she's also an illustrator. And if we just have a look at some of her previous posts, so there is an older post here, you can kind of see some of her artwork as well. And this one's interesting. So she did kind of like a augmented reality, obviously not an NFT collectible, but just a augmented reality figure of one of her kind of famous artworks. And the fact that she is being followed by David Yu as well, and it looks like from just digging around, she is looking to get into NFTs. It seems like she could be a artist that is going to feature her work on VeVe. And I had a look on her actual Twitter, so she's got 205,000 followers on here as well. And we can see that this is pretty cool. She's got a kind of AR character sitting next to her. And yeah, you can see here, she's got some, you get recommendations for Terrace House when you kind of go on her page, and you can see some of her artwork here as well. So definitely I haven't spent too much time kind of like digging around, but it just kind of makes sense to see some of her work on VeVe, just due to the fact that she seems to be looking to get into the NFT space. She's being followed by David Yu, and we know we've got like the kind of Artist Alley thing coming up as well. So I think that is going to be pretty cool. Now, what I did also want to touch on is I did manage to get, like I said earlier, 2 of the drops. I managed to then pick up the other 2, so I have the full set. But on top of that, I was actually debating on whether to get more OMI or the Ritmo, and you guys can clearly see which option I went with. So I'm pretty happy. The Ritmo's mint isn't anything special. It's quite high, 1,490 something, but it was only about 730 gems, which is a pretty decent discount to what it was selling on recently. And that allowed me to complete my Unicorno set, so I'm pretty happy with that. So you guys can see that my showroom's still pretty messy, but it is coming along. There is an issue with the logo. You can't seem to click and drag it or scale it or anything. It's kind of just stuck in my wall right now, so I'm hoping they fix that soon. But you can see that I've got the Cleopatra, which I picked up on the drop, the Amelia Earhart I did have to buy, and a rare as well, which you can see it has got the whole animation going on. The uncommon I managed to pick up just because someone's transaction failed, so I managed to get it on the buy now after the drop, well, like a minute after the drop, but it is stuck in a wall, which is annoying. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I've got so far. I've completed 11 sets. And yeah, that Ritmo allowed me to complete the Unicorno today, and I managed to get the full set of the Givenchy drop as well. So we do have another drop most likely this week. We should find out the details for that soon. I believe it may either be a Crypto Part 2, another Tokidoki, or maybe the Fast and Furious one. I'm not sure, but we can always speculate. Now, lastly, what I did also want to touch on is today's price. So we did start to see a little bit of a pullback on the hourly, and then it came back straight back down. So we are just continuing down this downtrend. On the 4-hourly chart, we should be able to see this trend a little bit clearer. And yeah, still a pretty red day. And of course, we had some more bearish news from Bitcoin in terms of China. One of their kind of like main government sites started saying that if anyone's Chinese bank account is found to be tied to cryptocurrencies, they're just going to shut down the account. And that kind of led to another pullback in Bitcoin. And yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening. It's just a load of FUD. My prediction, as always, is there's going to be loads and loads of FUD from the government. They're going to try and capitalize on it, and then we're going to see, you know, a huge rebound in crypto. Long term, I am very, very bullish on crypto and Bitcoin as a whole. At the moment, because of how much FUD there is in the market, I just will continue accumulating. But obviously, I will try and put some capital aside for things like, you know, the Ripmo, for example, you know, things that I just want because they look cool. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to go through with you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to keep updated with content. I'll keep you guys updated with anything else I find out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.